Okay. So we should be all right. Vinay's muted, so I'm not sure why, but we should be okay.
Hello, Stu. How are you?
Not too bad.
Wonderful. And hello, everyone else. How are you?
Hi, Vinay.
Sorry?
Wonderful.
All the lights. That's a good question. Where are the lights? Oh, hang on. Is that right? So we should be okay.
Yeah, wonderful. Hope you could join the session very easily. No problems.
We've just gone through how to connect, and we've got a couple of backup people in case something happens to me. We're also, I'm going to introduce Vinay for doing a talk today on how to control your house instead of your house controlling you. I'm sure. So take it away, Vinay.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm going to connect my other device and show you how we could. So we're going to talk about Internet of Things today. So what is Internet of Things and how does it work? That is what is the purpose of today's presentation, right? And great. So what is Internet of Things? So all the items are interconnected and interdependent. This is sounding a little philosophical, but that's how Internet of Things work. So all the things around us are interconnected and interdependent. Okay. So in this scenario, in the house, every device will be able to speak to the other device, all right, and speak to each other. So the, let's say, laptop speaks to the smartphone, smartphone speaks to the TV, TV speaks to the phone, and that speaks to the lights, that speaks to the heat pump. So everything else speaks to each other. So it's a network where, you know, every device is basically connected with each other. All right. So I have connected through my other device, and I will show you how all right. Okay. Great. Let us look at this scenario. Okay. So I'll pin this. Okay. This is my roof lighting. Currently you're looking at it. Okay. And I'm going to turn that off and turn that off, all that I can control using voice command. All right. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Okay. You're looking at my Google Home. All right. So Google Home, and this is all my devices which are connected to each other. All right. So these are the lights which I told you, which are basically, you know, the side light here. This fellow here will be controlled by this button. So you see the button called master side 1. I'm going to switch this and you can see the light has turned off, right?
So that's the light switch, that's the light.
Yes, I'll do that again. I'm going to turn this on, and you can see the light that has turned up. So I'm controlling using my smartphone here. Okay, and you can see the TV over there. Can you see the TV there?
Yep.
Now I can control the TV using the smartphone here from Google Home. All right, I'll show you how. So this is the TV. Okay, as you can see, this is the. I'm going to open the remote, home button, and it will go to the home button. I'm going to open the YouTube. Yeah, so slowly moving on to YouTube.
So it's a smart TV, Vinay.
Yes, it's a smart TV. That
Smart
is how
TV.
it can communicate, right?
Yep.
So all the things we are talking about are smart. Smart in the sense they have a chip on them that can be controlled. Okay. So I'm going to open the YouTube from here, as you can see, and easily play. All right. I can, what is it? Pause, play, all that I can do at any point of time. So I'm going to pause it now. Okay. So I could pause it. I can play it. All right. So this is how very easily I can control the TV, the lights, and many other aspects. All right. So let me use the voice command to turn on the lights and other things. Okay, I'll show you how on my smartphone. Okay. So I'm going to give it a command using voice. Okay. Because this is already screen shared, so it can't work. But using this voice command, I can basically tell it to turn on and turn off, and it will work fine. Okay, so yep. Let me show you. So using this button, as you can see, I can turn on the lights. Okay. And I can also show you that we can change the color of them. That's interesting. All right, I'm going to change the color to different color now.
Okay.
So this is red color.
Oops.
All right, can you see red? Not
Yep.
really.
Shade of red all around it.
And this is blue. Like that, I can change any color. All right. So that is how this green color. So I can change the color based on what suits me. I can adjust the brightness as well. As you can see, the brightness is being reduced. Yeah. And brightness is being increased. Can you sense the brightness being increased and decreased?
Yep.
Yep.
And color as well. Probably because of the camera, the color can't be captured really well, but it can be easily controlled, the brightness and color. So
are you still in Hamilton?
yes. So this is my Hamilton house, and
Yep.
all the devices in this residence can be controlled, including the heater. So this is the panel heater here. So I'm going to turn this on by flick of a button. So these are all list of my heaters. All right. So I'm going to turn on master heater, and as you can see, the heater has turned on. It is set to 28 degrees now. Can you see that?
28, can we see?
Can't see the 28.
It's just a thumbnail, but there is a, yeah, it probably is showing another there.
Yeah. Can you see
Oh, yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah.
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 There we go. Yep, that's good.
So, and that can be turned off from here by simply the flick of button. So I'm going to, you can see where it reads master heater on, right? Can you see that? On the control panel?
Yep.
Here?
Ah, right.
Yeah. So I'm going to flick that button and it will be turned off. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So the same reader, I'm going to show that to you now. It says nothing.
Yeah. So the display's off. Yep.
So that is how you can control the heater, the lights, the heat pump, the TV, literally everything in the house is connected by IoT, Internet of Things. So, and it also monitors. Let me show you at the bottom. Can you see certain readings which says
Oh, yes.
downstairs temperature, playroom temperature, and upstairs temperature and all that?
Mm-hmm.
So this is where I monitor what's the humidity level in the house. All right. And these are monitored whenever the humidity level reaches more than 65%.
Yeah.
This is basically programmed. So automatically the heaters and dehumidifiers turn on themselves and they reduce the humidity and bring it down to 60%. So the target humidity is about 60%, between 50 and 60. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how the entire house is on a cycle, which is completely monitored by electronics. They watch the temperature, and at any point of time, if they feel that the temperature is way too high or way too low, it will immediately trigger the cooling and heating devices, including dehumidifiers and humidifiers, to maintain the required humidity level and required temperature levels. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And all this is built based on open source hardware and open source software.
Yeah.
So Stu here must be aware of Raspberry Pi and Adriano. So we use those chips and those softwares to program it in open source and connect them all together into one single software. And there in the front end, I'm using Google Home as the application. So let me show you. So this is the application I'm using, Google Home. And that is where I'll import all these things and I stitch them together and I can control these devices. So when I go to Google Home, so this is the name of my device. These are different rooms that are available. So I can control the lights, I can control the TV, I can control the heat systems, security cameras. All the security cameras are also inbuilt and they speak to each other. So all the entire house is having sensors. That way it will be monitored through security cameras. Let me show you other set of sensors. As you can see here, few of the sensors says dining door closed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see main door closed.
Yeah.
Right? So whenever these doors here open, it will be flipped to open. Instead of closed, it will report me that one of the doors has been open. Okay, so this helps me even when I am away from home. I'm not at my home. I'll be able to easily monitor the safety and security of the house remotely. So when I travel to Auckland, when I travel to Wellington, I can monitor how my house is functioning. All right. At any point of time, especially when my elderly parents or my young children are going around. So I need to be making sure that they're all safe and secured. So this is how this electronic system, this Internet of Things helps me to connect everything together and monitor. All right.
I know of a scenario where if you had an office somewhere and you finished for the day and it was a winter day, you could set the heater going before you arrive so that the house is warm when you get there.
Right. That's right. So similarly, the same technology, you are absolutely right. So you can program it that way. Let's say you are leaving office at 5 o'clock and you are set to reach home at 5:30. So during winter, it can be really very, very cold. So when you reach home, it can be really nasty. It wouldn't be really nice and cozy. So what you could do, like Stu suggested, you can remotely turn on the heat pump and let it run for 30 minutes. So when you reach home by 5:30, so it now created a warm air inside the house.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So if I download Google Home, that's one side of the thing. But how do I link all the products? If already in existence, how do we make them smart?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Is it easy for the average person who may not know computers?
You've got to buy them. You've got to buy a smart TV.
Yes, that's a very pertinent question. So let me share my screen and show you few of the products that are available in the market, which are ready for you to set it up at your home. All right. Okay. Let me share my screen.
Okay. Yeah, we're seeing a schedule at the moment. There we go. Yeah. There's plenty of options. I remember I don't know if you remember the Tintin books about a person having an adventure and solving crime, and he needed to make the criminals believe that he was still home with his friend, and his friend was a sailor called Captain Haddock. So they built, like you might see in the supermarkets, these life-size pictures of people or things like that. And so they built one of Tintin and they built one of Captain Haddock. And it was on little wheels, a wee bit like a skateboard. and they had two of their friends who were police officers trundle these around in front of the living room with the living room lights on when it was night time, so that the villains would believe that Tintin was still home while they travelled overseas to where the villains were. Oh, I think the sound's gone. Renee, I think you're muted.
Yep. Yes, well, muted.
It's just a mute within Zoom.
Yeah, hope you can hear me now.
Whoops. Getting a bit of feedback.
Yep.
Yeah, just go to one session. Yep.
Sorry, yeah. So what I was trying to say is that many a times, thanks to the story given by Stu here, that many a times it's the fiction that helps people and technologists imagine certain things, and they're able to recreate them in reality. So similarly to the story of Tintin, the same way we have technology today that can be controlled remotely. So it's just that we are able to create a network such that the two devices can speak to each other. So I was showing you one of the links on Non-Living and MyTatan, where you get Wi-Fi smart bulbs. Okay, so when you purchase this, this can cost about $25 to $30 or something like that. So you bring home and put it in. Now once you put this light in and connect your home Wi-Fi to that particular light, okay, then what happens is through the app, all right, let's say you are purchasing Orbit light or Philips light. So Philips have smart app that you can basically use and control the lights, right? So, but what I have done here is that whole lot of about 40 lights, heaters, heat pumps, everything which is smart, and one which is not smart, I have put in a chip customizedly, and that is how it can communicate. This is slightly advanced here, but nevertheless, the concept is that, okay, so the concept is that you can create a network or basically Internet of Things in your home. So let's say in your house, you got about 4 roof lights. So simply purchase smart lights, bring them in, swap the unsmart light with the smart one, and then connect it to the internet. Now using Google voice command or Alexa or Siri, you can basically through voice command, you can turn on and turn it off. All right.
Can you do like as opposed to manual adjustment of something, can you do scheduled as well?
Yes, you can schedule at what time it will turn on, and you can also schedule what time it will turn off. And,
Right.
and thanks to this system, I have saved plenty of electricity bill. Okay.
Right.
So at night about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, the outside lights of my house will come out. Okay. Yeah. And morning by about 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, whenever, it's bright enough, the lights will go off. So that way, there is no night. If I forget to turn it off, the light will be unnecessarily turned on and it will consume energy. Right. And especially one of the aspects that helps me is the heaters, with respect to heaters, especially in winters. So it is quite a situation which we all have faced, that sometimes we turn on the heat pump and we forget to turn it off, and it will be running for a very long time. And as you know, heat pumps can be quite power intensive, and it can really blow up your power bill, right? So especially during the nights when the temperature can go pretty low, so the heat pump is very sensitive, and what it does is it senses the temperature. Like I showed you, there are few sensors I have placed all over my house, and what it does is simply detect the temperature, and whenever, as per the program, it falls below a certain temperature, let's say 15 degrees Celsius or something like that, it will command the heat pumps and heaters to go on. That way, it will heat the entire house up, bring it to set temperature of 20, 23, whatever is the set temperature. And once it reaches the set temperature, it will turn off again. And it will not turn on until the temperature drops by certain temperature, let's say 15 degrees. So that way you can program how you want the devices to turn on and how you want the devices to be turned off at any point of time. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
So Vinay, if the product isn't smart,
Yeah.
but it's like a heater or something that you plug in and plug out,
Yeah.
can you buy an appropriate plug which makes it into a smart heater?
Yeah, just a control.
That's right. That's right. So one of the prerequisites for controlling them is that they should be on the same network. When I say that same network, they need to be on the same Wi-Fi signal. And this is possible only when they are smart, correct?
Yeah.
So if they're classic bulbs, which is not smart, or classic TV, which is not smart, then you can't control it. Okay. Now you can make a TV smart. You don't have to really purchase a new smart TV. You don't have to spend another $1,000 just to, connect it to your internet or something like that. So one of the things you could do is simply buy a Chromecast. Okay.
Chromecast, yeah.
So Chromecast costs you maybe around $20-$30. Okay. So there are a few expensive ones, but typically it costs you about $20-$30. So if you spend $20-$30, purchase the smart Chromecast, you can plug it into your TV, and now this TV, which was basically non-smart, has now become smart. You saved literally $1,000. You didn't buy a new TV, but you just purchased a small Chromecast gadget which you attach to the TV to make it smart. All right.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Heather?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we're more sort of, apart from the lights itself, whether the light is smart or not, if it's a classic light bulb, maybe a better example will be a heater. So I've got a conventional heater that I manually plug into the electricity. Now, some of them are manual. You decide when the temperature comes on. Other ones have a built-in thing for what time they will activate, and it's just buttons on the side of the heater. So I've had that sort as well. Is there any smart equivalent?
Yes.
For a device like a heater or something else, maybe a freestanding light,
yep,
that you could plug into that would have a Wi-Fi connection, and
correct.
It's a control rather than a device in itself.
Yep. So I understand the question. So let me put it in another way. So if there is like you just said, there is a panel heater, and it's not smart. Okay. So how do we control it? So we can't by itself. By definition, we can't, because it's not smart. But however, we can add, using Raspberry Pi or some other program, we can add a chip onto it and program it. Okay. And it might sound a little scary and advanced, but it is not that scary. And that, so we can train you in how you can make an unsmart device into a smart device by using simple programs. Okay, and you know, we can also help you in getting that smart and, you know, getting connected onto your Google Home. Okay, so let me demonstrate few things. Then I will answer this further. Okay, let's say this is my Wi-Fi router. Okay, you are looking at my shared screen, isn't it?
That's right.
Yes. So I am basically demonstrating it to you that how my Wi-Fi devices or routers are placed in my house, so that, you know, you can we can watch them and say how many devices are connected, what is the speed at which it is working, how healthy they are. You know, as you can see from here, I have got 3 routers distributed in my house. So in the lounge, there are 6 devices which are connected, right? And in the prayer room, there are 21 devices connected. In the playroom, there are 7 devices connected. So this is how I can watch and monitor how these devices are connected. Okay. Now I will show you further. Okay. Now let us take my dishwasher. So Bosch, this is my dishwasher. Okay. Now, you know, it is currently not connected, but it will immediately get connected in some time. So once it is connected, I can basically turn on this dishwasher and turn off. I can schedule it like Stu was mentioning earlier. I can tell when the dishwasher could turn it on by itself. Okay. And make similarly, I can do that with respect to my washing machine. Okay. So this is my washing machine, and my washing machine is connected to the network. So I can tell it when to turn on. Okay. It's basically, okay. So I'll deal with it later. So basically, I can control the dishwasher, washing machine, and other devices, including my watch. Okay, this is my smartwatch, which is connected, and it is measuring my. So currently my heart rate is a little high. Maybe I'm presenting it to you.
You're always happy when you're presenting, so that's probably.
So and this is my body temperature and sleep monitor when I sleep. So it has got, and what is the current temperature outside? Outside temperature is 13 degrees. It's quite cold, but inside you have seen the temperature is 28, right? Yeah. So the inside temperature was quite high compared to outside, because that is the kind of temperature the house is maintaining because of its smart connected devices. All right. So to answer this question further, so one of the aspect is that the devices you can control must be smart. If it is not smart, you can't really control them. Okay. So one of the way it can be done is replace the old device, get a new smart device and do it where applicable. Second, you don't have to really replace those devices with new ones, which can be expensive. You could do a tweak through which the unsmart devices can become smart devices in terms of Chromecast or Raspberry Pi or something like that. All right.
So just Raspberry Pi and Chromecast.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what do you mean by that?
Yep. Wonderful. So Raspberry Pi and Chromecast are basically the, one second, let me share my screen and show it to you. That might probably will be easy. One second. All right. Yeah, sorry. Okay. You will not be able to see. All right. Okay. So what is Raspberry Pi and what is how is that Chromecast work? Okay. Raspberry Pi is basically, so Raspberry Pi is basically a chip, a motherboard, which is basically the open source. Unlike Intel and what is it? Other manufacturers, which are proprietary, which are quite expensive. These are very inexpensive ones. Okay. So this I'm showing a really big one. And this can be purchased from PB Tech and all other popular stores. These are really inexpensive ones. So these are basically Raspberry Pi is a series of small single board computer developed in United Kingdom by Raspberry Pi Foundation, which is basically a registered charity. Okay. So these make, in association with Broadcom, cheap and open source chips, which can be easily purchased, and most of the things are easily DIY, do it yourself at home. Okay, let me show a few of the examples. Okay, so I'm going into raspberrypi.com. Okay, so if you look at that, so you get the entire personal computer kits. You get Pico series, small ones, the microcontroller boards, which, starting from $4, you can imagine how inexpensive these are. And these are the ones that we'll be tweaking into the unsmart devices. Okay. For example, let's say this particular one. Okay. So it says from light displays and IoT devices to signage and manufacturing processes, these can be used. Okay. So they are very easily programmable. They are not difficult. Okay. So this RP2040, this is basically, some particular 16 MB chip. This I can mount it on, okay, the panel heater, let's say. Okay. And I will program this to connect to a particular Wi-Fi, and then it can easily, whatever instructions you are giving to the chip saying turn it off, it will pass the current accordingly to the device and turn the device off. Okay. In the same way, when we instruct through internet to this chip to turn it on, it will pass the current and turn it on accordingly. So, this is another one, Raspberry Pi Pico W. It's a basically wireless chip, and it is available for $6. Okay. So if you purchase in bulk, it will work out very cheap. That's what I did with most of my house devices. I purchased almost like 150 chips, which costed me $2 per chip. Okay. And I went to each devices, put it in, and then with the master program, I programmed it. Okay. Does that answer, Heather?
No. Never mind.
It might be a little bit high-tech for us.
Okay.
Yeah. No offense intended. No offense intended.
Okay. So in other words, basically, so these chips which are available, you can purchase it, and you can take any local electrician's help to install this in your unsmart device and make it smart. Okay. These are very inexpensive chips which are available at very fraction of the new product's cost, that you can, and with help of electrician locally, you can install this chip onto the device so that now it becomes smart. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the sort of thing that one of our previous chairmans, Mike Lee, was a fan of, and it is like very cheap and has the same functionality as a desktop computer. It can be customized as much as you like, and it's only limited by your own sort of understanding of computer parts. I'm not a hardware guy myself, so there is a limit to. I did a Dick Smith kit, which was an intercom, 2 microphones, 2 speakers, and some wire in between them. And we had it set up between the house and the garage. And so if Dad was working in the garage on something and it was time for a lunch break, Mum could press a button in the kitchen, and it was a wee bit like a walkie-talkie, except it was wires in between the house and the garage. And so Mum could let Dad know that it's lunchtime, and then Dad could come back up to the house to have lunch. And that involved soldering, which I found fiddly because you're dealing with quite small parts. And sometimes the soldering iron has this big piece on the end of it, so you have to be very careful with doing things the right way, otherwise it doesn't work.
Yeah,
but,
I think the answer there is electrician or someone who knows what they're doing.
Someone who knows what they're doing. Yeah.
How safe, Vinay, how safe is the system? I mean, if I've got unsecured Wi-Fi, if I able to tap in and start to create havoc?
Yep, that's a good valid question. So yep, you know, when it comes to internet or network, so the standard principles of internet and networking will apply here as well. So whenever there is a network, there is always a technical possibility that some uninvited person might get access to it. So you will have to secure it. Okay. So typically your Wi-Fi has a password, isn't it? So once you have a strong and long password, which is unique to your Wi-Fi network, so you are basically prohibiting from other people accessing it. Okay. So the key to any of the internet or networking is that you have to secure it by a good strong password. Yeah, and I'll play I'll play a small video to you which you will love.
Bye everyone, I'm going to go to a council meeting.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I'll play a small video which probably you'll enjoy appreciating how silly sometimes when the smart things go bad, how silly it can be. Let me just bring that up in a minute. 1 second, please. Okay, so I'm just bringing that up. A minute, please. Okay, you should be able to see this screen.
Right. Yep.
Hey folks, slow down. Slowing down. Anchor down. Anchor down. And stop. And fun. Heel shrimps. Heel shrimps. Rotating for maximum sun. Wrong voice command. Hey folks, start. Error. Hey folks, start. Sorry, I don't understand. Come. Hi, Miriam. Gonna go? Hey, Bob, start. Yes. Smoothie.
Making smoothie.
Calendar.
No meetings today. Remember, dentist at 9:30.
Fire off.
Fire off.
Open door.
Door open.
And we're going to do one more.
Oh, yeah. Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open door.
Repeat that.
Open door.
I didn't understand.
Hey, open door.
Play on the floor.
Open the door. Open the door. Hey, Miriam. The rock.
Oh, very good.
So as you can see, keeping it simple is the mantra, but we should do so hi-fi that it becomes absolutely terrible. That this gentleman here, while Miriam is able to happily open her door using her keys and able to do everything so easily.
No worries. Thank you very much, Renee. Thank you for today's presentation.
Yeah.
And thank you everybody for coming by. So just letting you know that the next 3 Tuesdays for April, we don't have this room booked because it was already booked by school holiday program. And one of the Tuesdays this month is Anzac Day. So the library will be closed as a mark of respect for the soldiers. So we won't be having a session that day either. Okay, so we'll see you back here in May.
Wonderful.
Thanks,
You have a wonderful vacation and we'll see you in May. Bye-bye.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. So,